Welcome to Get Real with Eddie, where we delve deep into the world of real estate with your host, the designated managing broker of Exit Real Estate Specialist, Eddie Ruettiger.
And good morning. Here we are. It's Get Real with Eddie with me, Eddie Ruettiger from Exit Real Estate Specialist. And Nancy is out mountain climbing today. So sitting in for Nancy is Jenna from On Target Inspections. Jenna, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. You know, the weather is finally turning. We've had a couple nice days back to back.
Yeah.
None of that cold rain.
Yeah.
So I'm doing well. I mean, I really am. So real estate is moving forward. I know there's a lot of people freaking out. Just freaking out over the market.
Yeah.
And everybody's thinking recession. Whether there is a recession or not, I don't get into that here. I don't think it's going to affect anything on the real estate front.
No, I don't see that on our end at all, actually. And haven't we been in a recession for 25 years anyway?
I don't know. As much as they talk about, recession, we may have been in a recession for the last 25 years. I didn't think about it that way. That's a good point. Nancy made a comment I think it was last week. She's like, oh, yeah, recession, again. Here we go, again.
Yeah.
It's like every time they turn, they're talking a recession, and yeah. So, all right, I want to first get into new construction. And you said before we went on air, when you saw the article, I've been doing a ton of new construction lately. So the truth about newly built homes in today's market, okay? So here's the thing. This kind of goes with the recession talk, all right? Because everybody's freaking out and thinking that we're going to have this collapse on the market. The problem is it's not like it was in 2008, okay? So when you look at the number of homes that were being built, okay, it reached its highest level in 2009. And that's because they were finishing things off, all right? It really peaked around 2008. All right, and you were just over 180,000 units a year, adjusted for inflation, and this is according to the Census Bureau. All right, right now, February 2025, we're at 119,000 units. All right, these are completed new homes for sale. We're at 119,000. They were doing almost 190,000.
Wow.
So this makes a difference because everybody thinks that there is enough housing and the market's going to crash, and all of these factors are playing into it. But new construction's nowhere near where it was in 08 and 09.
No, but it has increased a lot.
Because the thing is, the overbuilding at the time did contribute to a housing crash. It was another factor that came into play when you look at the, interest rates and the bad loans that were given and the lack of monitoring on those bad loans and how the loans were being bundled. I've said it before, I'll say it again. If you haven't watched the movie The Big Short,
I've heard of it, but I actually have not watched it.
It is all about the housing collapse from the stock market's point of view. And how the one financial trader was actually the only one out there. He was actually hedging against the collapse.
Just one?
Well, maybe two.
All right.
Everybody else didn't think it was going to happen.
Yeah.
All right. So and then all of a sudden it happened.
I feel like there's been some lessons learned across the board, though, since then.
I completely agree. And that's the thing. Everybody thinks we've overdeveloped, and that's not the truth. We've still underdeveloped.
No, we absolutely have, and especially with a shortage, we need to develop more.
Yes. Yeah. Builders aren't overbuilding. They're just catching up, honestly, is what they're going. Because between, 2010, there was about 15 years of underbuilding where we were building single-family housing units in the thousands we were under 100,000 units.
I could see that. I mean, I could pull back our numbers even in the last 5 years. How many new constructions that we've done in the last 5 years versus the last, I guess, 12 to 13 months.
Yeah.
And we've seen more than double.
Yeah. And when you're looking at it, then these numbers are on the monthly totals, just to let everybody know, because we normally build 1 million units of housing a year, and that keeps up with the aspects of population growth.
These are national.
This is all
numbers, though.
national stuff. Yes, these are national numbers. So, and Odette Kushi, Deputy Chief Economist at First American, highlights, this means more homes on the market and more options for home buyers, which is good news for a housing market that has been underbuilt for a decade. This is the thing. If you're in the market to buy, you have more options. Inventory levels are going up. That is not the sign of a housing crisis. It is the sign of a housing market that was in crisis with housing shortages.
Exactly. Again, I mean, you need to build in order to create new inventory.
Correct. And here's the other thing you have to remember. There are housing units that go vacant every year. There are housing units that go uninhabitable every year. You drive by some of them all the time. You see these old farmhouses that are just sitting there.
Yeah, the property is there. The house is dilapidated, but there.
But there.
So.
And it doesn't break any rules enough where the city can do anything about it. You know, because everybody's like, well, why don't they do something? Well, it's got to be something legal.
Right, it's privately owned property.
Yes. They can't just go in and do something about it. It's not how it works.
They might want to, but they cannot.
So, yes. So that's the biggest thing is there are new construction options out there. And the one thing is, I will tell you, with these interest rates, you can get a good deal because the builders are staying busy, and the reason you're getting busier with more new construction is they're doing rate buy downs.
Well, they are, and you know, just in my position, I have to obviously pull up the listings and, you know, look at the details of the homes before we perform the inspection on them, and I could see the difference in price from these new constructions. I mean, beautiful new homes, you know, 3-4 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2.5 bath houses. $325, some of them, when you have pre-existing houses that are getting sold for $500, $600, sometimes close to $750,000 for the same size house, which is an absurd difference.
Yeah, the prices can be negotiated, and they've got a little bit more room to give sometimes, and the interest rates, a lot of them are just doing the buy down, so they're getting full price for the house, but they're taking buy downs on it. Yeah. You know, I always say your best time to move into a neighborhood is you're buying the very first house because the builder's going to push that price up for you.
Right.
Or you're going to buy the very last house because the builder's going to be ready to cut and get their crew out of there, so they're willing to give away the farm on that last one.
I never thought of it like that.
Oh, absolutely. So I cannot not bring this up. Since you're here, and you know, On Target is one of our favorite home inspectors, why you don't skip the home inspection?
Oh, there's a whole list of reasons why you don't. You know what, though? That's actually a nice segue, talking from new construction into not skipping an inspection, because even for new construction, it is important. I think the biggest aspect of getting a home inspection is it's a risk mitigation strategy, right?
Absolutely.
You know, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on a property. You want to make sure that you're very well aware of what you're walking into. So when you're purchasing a home inspection, you know, depending on who you go with, you know, for us, we're full service, so we offer a variety of ancillary testings, you know, mold, radon, sewer scopes. But at the end of the day, you want to look at the bones, you want to look at major defects, you know, roof, attic, crawl, foundation. You want to make sure that you're aware of what is happening in the house currently and what potential defects in the very near future that you're going to have to put some money into. So, you know, for us, obviously, you know, we're looking at it as a safety issue, but it really, at the end of the day, it's all about money. It's about protecting your assets. So that's why you don't want to skip a home inspection, because you might be thinking that you're getting a great deal on this house, but there's, up to $20,000, $30,000 worth of damage that you can't even see with the eye. You need a licensed professional, somebody that's not just like your uncle that has experience in construction, somebody that went to school that's licensed and knows exactly what to look for as far as home defects.
Absolutely. And one of the biggest aspects with new construction, I point out, is the builder's going to say, well, we had the building inspection come in. The builder inspection came in.
Yeah, but they're paid for by the builder.
So, well, they're not paid for by the builder. They're paid for by the city.
Yeah.
And the city, that's the city to get their permits. But the one thing I would point out is what a building inspector looks at and what you look at
Very different.
are different aspects and different things.
Mm-hmm.
I look at you as an educational piece for the homeowner, especially in new construction, so they know what they're buying.
Exactly. And the truth is that houses are ever changing,
Yes.
right? In a relatively short amount of time, you can have the tiniest little crack that can cause major issues down the road in like less than a year's time.
Yes.
So, again, you are right, like building inspectors, like city inspectors, they're looking at the properties different than we are.
Yes.
We're looking at it as what's going to protect your asset, what's in your best interest.
And one of the greatest examples is we had a municipality, and I don't know if this is still their law, but the municipality required a GFC outlet on the sump pump.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to call that out.
Yes.
We have to, because that is a safety hazard at that point. There's water. So.
But the ordinance for the city said you have to have that.
I think it depends on the township, right?
It does.
We do see that a lot, and now...
Which makes no sense. Because if that GFI pops, your sump pump's no longer working.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but unfortunately, if there's water... they do require a GFCI outlet. But you're not wrong, though, for that. And I don't know what the workaround would be for that. But
I never had in this municipality a inspection on new construction. But I use that as an example going, okay, so here's what's going to happen. The home inspector is going to flag that. Because if it pops, you have no sump pump in your basement's flooding.
Mm-hmm.
The builder is not going to be able to change that. Because if they change that, the city will not give the occupancy permit.
Yeah.
You have to change that after you're in the house.
Yeah.
And those are the little things that I think are important to know. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, though, flooding in the basement is like way more dangerous than
I would agree. I would agree. So, all right. So, what is a home inspection? What are you guys? Let's go back for a second. What are you guys actually doing?
Okay, so, for us, we are inspecting, I guess, like visually inspecting. This is non-invasive, so we're not moving anything. We're not breaking apart anything. No, we cannot do that. So it's a visual inspection of all of potential major defects in a home. So starting at the outside, we're looking at all the appurtenances, which is a really fancy way of saying sidewalks, garden beds, driveways. We're going to be looking at garages. We also will inspect. We're going to walk the roof if we can.
Okay.
Any good inspection company is going to do that. For us, if it is, an extremely large house with a pitched roof and it's not safe to walk, we'll bring out drone imaging so that way you can get a good visual of what it looks like at the time. And then in the inside, we're going to be looking at the structure from the attic and crawl spaces and basements. A lot of times people don't realize that whatever is happening in the crawl space or the basement is actually, in fact, affecting what's happening in the attic as far as moisture. We're also going to be looking at all of the major safety defects in a home. So we're going to check all your outlets, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, windows, locks, doors, that sort of thing. But we're also, more importantly, looking at all of your major mechanical systems. So we're checking some electric and plumbing. We're going to be looking for leaks. We use thermal cameras to make sure that there's nothing going on behind the drywall that you can't see. For the breaker box, we're going to be inspecting that as well. But looking at your HVAC units, all of your appliances, basically just giving you a full, on a 40 pages or less report of what your home is at the time of the inspection. Now, again, one common misconception, we'll get calls, you know, a year later, oh, well, the inspection report said this, but now we have this happening. And it's like, you have to realize that houses are ever changing. So what happened at the inspection is basically a snapshot in time, right? But it is going to give you a pretty good idea of, you know, if it's a sturdy, strong, sound house with, you know, good mechanicals and no leaks and no electrical issues. So, in essence, that's all that it is.
Understandable. I think it really pays to do the inspection because it's just so worth it.
Yeah.
You know, when you do a walkthrough, you're going to see the house, but you don't get to see the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are fixated on, you know, granite countertops, or I like this color paint, or I'm going to change that. But that's not really the most alarming part of a house. Is like, okay, you can change the paint at any time, you can change the countertops at any time, but if you're sitting on, you know, a cracked foundation, it's going to cost you $15,000 to repair that.
And so let's go. When we're in the kitchen and when we're in the bedrooms and stuff, they're looking at the paint and they're looking at the counter. I'm looking at the walls.
Right.
I'm looking at the ceiling. I'm looking for watermarks, cracks, peeling paint.
You're looking for little cracks in the corners.
You know? I'm looking. That's what I'm looking for.
And that's what we're looking for too. And that's why we have, you know, tools like thermal cameras that come in to see what's actually happening behind those walls too.
But I don't go into the attic. We usually don't go into an attic. We don't go into a crawl space in most cases.
Yeah.
I have. But I mean, normally we're not going there. And I mean, the number one way to find out if your roof's leaking, let's be honest, is go in your attic.
Yeah. I always tell realtors all the time, we actually teach classes for newly licensed realtors about how to view the house during the showings through the lens of a home inspector. Because there's a lot of things that you can walk up to a property when you're on a showing and see, okay, does it have poor grading, which is essentially, you know, the lawn outside, it should be tilted slightly upward toward the house, so the water that's coming down from the roof and the gutters has a place to roll off to avoid it pooling on your foundation. Those are things people don't think to look at, you know, and those could be very expensive repairs down the line.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, as a realtor, I would always recommend, if you can, pop your head into the attic, pop your head down into the crawl space. I've
got so many clients, they want to skip over the water heater in the furnace.
Oh no.
And that's the first. I'm like, oh, we got to go to the basement.
Yeah, I know how old it is.
I go, I want to know how old the water heater in the furnace is. You know, if it looks older than me, there's a problem.
I mean, sometimes they can last for an eternity.
They can, but
eventually it's going to reach its lifespan.
Exactly, and that's something they need to take into consideration.
Oh, those are expensive, you know.
With that, sellers need to take it into consideration because there's one thing they need to know about their asking price. All right. From Realtor.com, the number of price cuts has moved back to normal levels.
Oh.
We have not seen price cuts at this level for some time. So this is all data from Realtor.com. So you need to be pricing your house at the true market value.
Yeah.
We're getting back into a normal, typical market. Now, this is national data, so we still are seeing the shortage here.
Yeah. I mean, I look at the house that's next door to me here in Crest Hill, and it just sold, well, it's contingent right now, but it's listed, I think, like $234, which is, in my opinion, not necessarily a normal, like, pre-COVID price, but I mean,
the prices aren't going down, though.
Right.
They're not going to go back to pre-COVID pricing.
No, but this is like the new normal now.
Yes, this is where you're at. What the normal with the pricing is, you're going to see, instead of houses being 10 or 20% more the following year, because we were seeing 10 to 20% increases depending on your market.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see more of 3 to 6% increases.
It's better.
Matter of fact, I think Crest Hill is a 6% year over year right now for market. We'll look at Crest Hill data coming up. But yeah, that's kind of what you're seeing. And that's what they need to look at. You've got to make sure you're pricing these houses accurately. You've got to look at recent sales. All right, you got to look at the analyzed local market trends. All right, so we look at where our market trends. We talk about the numbers all the time here for that reason. So
I have a question.
Yes.
When you, as a realtor, are walking into a listing appointment and you're giving them a price, are you factoring in any, defects or like reaching an end of lifespan on mechanical systems?
Oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, that's how I come up with the prices half the time.
Yeah.
So I look at, okay, here's what the market value would be moving in. And now I go, oh, wait, we need a new furnace. Okay, that's $10,000. Let's take that off.
Right.
All right, do I need a new roof? No, the roof's fine. We don't need a new roof. All right, there's 10 years left on the roof. That's not a replacement area.
Yeah.
Okay, so I look at water heater. Okay, water heater, that usually is hand in hand. If the furnace hasn't been replaced, the water heater's probably close too.
Yeah.
It just always seems that way. So, water heater's probably going to have to go. There's $1,000. Okay, so now I'm going to take $1,100 off that price and now price it at that is how I do it.
That's how you do it. That's not how everybody does
No.
it, but at the very least, just be honest with the sellers to let them know that when that home inspection time happens, this is a potential credit.
Well, and I just had that, and we had a long conversation with a seller, and I said, look, we're going to probably get hit with some stuff, and we did, and we negotiated it out, and we're now waiting on appraisal.
Yeah.
And so we moved forward, and they were ready, they were prepared, they knew that this is we were going to get some type of request, and we were able to come into an agreement that met both the buyer and the seller, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely. I'm just glad that people are actually in negotiation mode again,
Yeah.
because there was a few years nobody was doing that.
Well, the bigger thing too is I'm glad we're getting out of overpricing, because overpricing is backfilling. Buyers may not even look at the house if you're overpriced. It could cause the property to sit too long. Now you've got market time, and you might end with less on the house than you would have gotten if you would have just priced it correctly to begin with.
Yeah. Do you know what the average market time is for a house in this area now?
Yeah, we have that data coming up for Crest Hill, and it varies from area to area, but for the most of our markets, between Plainfield, Shorewood, and everything that we kind of service around here, you're anywhere from 30 to 60 days.
Wow.
I mean, there's some that are a little bit higher, some a little bit lower. But you're about 30 to 60 days still.
Not 2-week turnarounds anymore.
Not a 2-week turnaround, no. But you still have an active market going on.
Yeah.
So it's very active market. Speaking of, what do I want to do? Oh, I want to look at this. So the data, the longer a house sits, the less it sells for. Median price of asking price homes sell for weeks. The week home was on the market. So how much are they getting of the asking price on a median basis? So if it's on for a week, 100%. 1 to 2, 100%. 3 to 4, 100%. Here's when market time kicks in. 5 to 8 weeks, 98%. 9 to 16 weeks, 96%. 17 weeks or more, you're getting 94% of asking price.
That's a difference. I mean, it doesn't seem like a big drop, but
6%
6%
on a $300,000 house is $18,000.
Yeah.
I'm looking for $18,000 if I lost it.
Yeah. Then I think people see those numbers and they see the percent. Oh, it went from 96 to 94%. That's not a big drop, but it is when you translate that to dollar signs.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about Crest Hill's sales data after the break. Keep it here with Get Real with Eddie.
Welcome to the Lions Club. Being a lion means knowing that kindness matters. We believe in changing the world by serving the needs of our local communities. More than 1.4 million lions around the world are responding to local and global challenges with kindness and care. Come volunteer with us. Your Lions journey starts here. The Crest Hill Lions Club invites you to reach out to your local Lions Club to learn about how you can be a part of a community and bringing passionate, kind-hearted people together to serve local needs. They build relationships that lead to opportunities. In short, when lions serve, life improves, and the community grows. Grow with us. The Crest Hill Lions Club would also like to thank our sponsors who help with our yearly events, such as the car show and picnic at St. Joe's Park, and those who attend and support our Easter egg hunts, Shanahan Bingo, and many more events. The Crest Hill Lions Club meets the first and third Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. For more information on being a lion, go to lionsclub.org to start your journey today. That's lionsclub.org.
And get real with Eddie. I want to bring to your attention the Herbert Trackman Planetarium at Joliet Junior College. My son loves this. They offer free shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It's perfect for stargazers. The show provides excellent astronomical instruction and entertainment for no charge. That's right, it is free on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. The planetarium features a 30-foot diameter dome, a new OmniStar digital planetarium projector. During the shows, you can enjoy sky tours using the projector and PowerPoint presentations covering a wide range of astronomical topics. For more information, please visit jjc.edu/planetarium. And for you educators out there, they are open for field trip bookings. So go to jjc.edu/planetarium.
Are you ready to make your next move in real estate? Look no further than Exit Real Estate Specialists, your innovative leader in the industry. At Exit, we're not just about transactions. We're about building relationships and fulfilling dreams. Step into a community of empathetic, well-trained professionals dedicated to your success. Our Exit Real Estate professionals are more than just agents. They're your trusted advisors and allies in the journey of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Whether you're selling your home or searching for your next investment, trust Exit to provide an excellent experience from start to finish. Our commitment to putting people first means you receive personalized attention and support, ensuring your real estate goals are met with success. Call us today at 815-823-5478 or visit exitrealestatespecialist.com to learn more. Exit Real Estate Specialists, exceeding your expectations every step of the way.
The face for radio, the heart for real estate. It's Get Real with Eddie.
All right, you live in Crest Hill, so you're always watching Crest Hill market.
Always.
For sure.
Always.
Yes. So, median sales price for Crest Hill was $260,500, up 4%.
Is that my neighborhood or is that the newer
That's
part?
all of Crest Hill. That's all property types. So let's do this. Nancy likes to throw out any new construction. And
Is there new construction in Crest Hill right now?
I don't think there might be one or two small units, but there's not like a development going on.
Yeah.
You know, you always have somebody that may build.
We got that new gun range going.
There's a new gun range going on? Where at?
Yeah, they're going to be building it. It's a training facility, I guess. They're going to put in for police and firefighters. I don't know.
Ooh, I don't know. Where's that? You don't know where it's going?
It's off of Weber somewhere, like over Weber, Caton Farm area, I think.
Because I know there's the range at the old District 5 headquarters on 53.
Yeah, that's still there, but that's for state police, so.
No, other officers go there too. So I don't think they can do anything else with it because they've been shooting lead into the wall, a hill for so long that there's so much lead over there.
Yeah, so they got to build a new one. That's about the only new construction that's going to be happening around here.
So now there's a lot of new construction going on. You guys got there's a new gas station going in on 53.
It's commercial.
Yeah, there's a lot of commercial coming in, but yeah, there's not a lot of space. Mm-hmm. Crest Hill's kind of landlocked.
Yeah.
All right, so looking at single family home. All right, so not condos or townhouses, taking those out, and resale only, no new construction. The median sales price is actually $292,000.
Jeez.
Up 2.3%. You got a lot of newer, decent quality homes along that Weber Road
Yeah, you do.
area. I mean, so there's a lot there. Original list price was $337,337, up 8.4% on the average. On the median, it's $299,900, up 0.3% year over year from March. And, that number's come down a little bit. It was up at a peak, for the median original list price. You were up out to $320 back in August. So you've come down a little bit. Here's your market time. This is what you wanted to know. The average market time for a single-family house in Crest Hill is 36 days. That's up 2.9%.
Yeah.
But that is down from the high in December of 39 days. So it's down to 36 days. So you're still in that 30 to 40 day range, which is amazing.
It is.
Median market time is 14 days.
Wow.
And that's actually up 26.3% from last year. So the median market time is up. I really think that has to do with some of the weather we got. But, March wasn't, I don't think, a bad last March, but last year March in 2024. But there was some cold.
There was. It was
kind of
colder.
fun. We had that one day, that funky day, where my son called it, we went from the zombie apocalypse to a tornado to frozen.
I mean, we just had that a couple weeks ago, too, though.
Yeah.
It was like 75 degrees and then a tornado and then snowing.
Yeah, and that's the day he was talking about.
Yeah.
Because the sunset that day was really orangey, so he said it looked like the zombie apocalypse.
Kind of did.
Yeah. So.
I wonder, though, these pricing points in Crest Hill, because I know, like, the last, I would say, 10 to 15 years, Crest Hill has been notorious for a lot of landlords coming in, a lot of investors, a lot of rental properties. I wonder if these higher prices are going to attract more home buyers and less renters.
Possibly. Believe it or not, they're, I want to say, 70% or better when it comes to
Home ownership. Yeah.
It's not as many landlords as you think.
I think it's more specifically like the old side of Crest Hill, like where,
Yeah.
I like the little circle neighborhood there.
The Spaghetti Bowl?
Yeah, the Spaghetti Bowl, that part of town.
Have you ever heard it called that?
Yeah.
Right behind where the bowling
Oh,
alley
it
is?
took me years to figure out even where I was going
Oh,
back
yeah.
there.
If you have someone ever chasing you, you go over there. Because
Yeah,
if
right.
you know your way through there, you will lose them.
It is interesting. But
Yeah.
there are a lot of rental properties there still.
There are.
In the Cheney-Manji neighborhood, there's still a lot of rental properties.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm wondering if it is going to attract more home buyers and less investors.
I could see it, possibly. But, I mean, as the median price keeps going up, the rent's
gonna go
up. And then, so you're going to see the investors, just adjust their plans accordingly.
Yeah.
And we need investors. I mean,
Yeah.
you only have about 63% of the entire country that's home ownership. Okay, so where does the other 37% live?
All investors.
I mean, they got to live somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, some of them, live with family, but not all of them do. So, I mean, that's the aspect of the
You
thing.
need renters.
You do. So, keeping within line, the month supply is 1.3 months supply. That's down. It was 1.4 in January, and that's kind of a high in the last 3 years for Crest Hill. I want to look at the 10-year on the month supply.
You own a house in Crest Hill too, don't you?
I do. I still have. I had a property in Crest Hill that I lived in, and then once I got married, I ended up renting it out. So we have a rental property over in Crest Hill, and I love Crest Hill.
Oh, I do too.
So
it's my home now.
Yeah.
Been here for 10 years.
So but you look at month supply compared to 2015, when you were at 4 months supply in 2015, and now you're at 1.3 months. You can see why it's still a seller's market.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. So, homes for sale were 13 units in the last 12 months. That's month over month average. You're at 164 new listings. So, and that was at 13 homes were still for sale at the end of the month. Because everybody goes, well, how do you have 164 listings but only 13 homes for sale? Because out of the 100, everything, only 13 of them didn't go under contract, basically. Under contract was 130 units, and closed sales were 123 units over the last 12 months. That's up 13.9%. Showings per contract. Here's how many people are looking Crest Hill. It is up 16 on the showings on the median. On the average, you're at 21, which is actually down from the peak in July of 25. So showings per listing.
24, you mean?
Was it 24?
Yeah, because we're only in 25. We're not July 25.
No. Oh, in July 2024. I'm sorry. Yes, there was 25.
Eddie's living in the future.
There was 25 showings on average in July. So showings peaked in July. Showings peaked in May of last year, actually, in 2021.
I can see
going
that.
back. Yeah. So it's been interesting. Showings per listing, you are at 11.2, and that's been pretty consistent. It peaked about 12 showings per listing in July of 2024. So there is the housing data for
good old Crest Hill.
Yes. And, hunting for a house, it's gotten easier. So Daryl Fairweather, chief economist at Redfin, explains, now is the best time to buy in the last 2 years. Mortgage rates are comparable to what they were 2 years ago, and prices remain high. However, there's a significant more inventory. And that's the thing. Mortgage rates are they've been going crazy a little bit. But
They've been up and down that I've seen.
Overall, they've been slowly ticking down.
Yeah.
And until the week before, with all the tariff stuff going on, and there was a huge sale of bonds, and so the 10-year Treasury rate started shooting up, and that's when the president came out and said, "Hey, we're going to put a hold on these tariffs. We're going to put a hold on these tariffs," and then the bond market calmed back down because the 30-year I think hit over 5.
Wow.
Yeah, the 30-year Treasury hit over 5. For that, the 10-year was at 4.55 at one point, and last I saw, it was around 4.3. And I did get a email from a lender that showed everything was started ticking back down again on rates, except the jumbo. The 30-year jumbo was the only one that ticked up a little bit, and that's just because that's high. I'm betting high risk and high dollar amount. So that one's the only one that showed on his chart that had ticked up, but everything else was ticking down. So
that's good.
Yeah. So, and then with that, again, the new listings are on a rise. So you got new construction, you got new listings, so there's a lot more options if you're looking to buy. So getting back in this market is not a bad move. If you've been, because there's a lot of people that did not buy in 2021 that wanted to, 2022 that wanted to, 2023 that wanted to, 2024 that wanted to. This may be a good year for you to make the move. And don't worry about the rate.
Well, I think the only thing that I've heard from people that I've talked to that they're concerned with the rate is the fact that they refinanced and they got locked into a really good interest rate a few years ago.
Yep.
So now they don't want to sell. But if the rates are continuing to trickle down, then that'll help open up that market again.
Well, and here's the thing. Your current house payment, let's say, is based off of a $300,000 purchase. Okay? How many years ago? So you're paying on that interest rate. Yeah, it might be a low rate, but you're paying based on $300,000. Now, let's just say you bought hypothetically prior to the COVID run-up. So we can easily suggest you have 40,000 or 40% increase in your property value. So now your house is worth about $420,000, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. It just all depends. So plus you've paid down on principal. Now, depending on when you bought, how much principal, who knows? Maybe it's not a lot. Maybe it's just $10,000. All right, but now that's $130,000 you're going to roll into the next property. Maybe your next property is only going to be, if you're downsizing, a property for $400,000.
Right, or if you're moving a little further away from, all the congestion, you buy a house for $250,000, $300,000 still.
Exactly, because the farther you get away from Chicago, the cheaper it gets.
Oh yeah.
So if you're financing less, the interest rate might be higher. But now you may be moving into a property that fits your needs, all right? Whether you're downsizing or you need the extra bedroom or you need a bigger garage or you need a bigger yard, whatever it may be, instead of struggling and fighting that issue, you're getting what you need, and you may be paying the same amount.
Right, maybe less.
Yeah, or maybe slightly more,
right.
But if it's just slightly more, and then you can refinance that when the rates do come down, because everybody does think the rates are going to come down.
Oh, yeah.
As this inflation issue gets addressed more and more. So, all right, when we get back after the break, I'm going to talk about a smart solution for buying in this market. So keep it here with Get Real with Eddie.
It's Eddie Ruettiger from Exit Real Estate Specialists and Get Real with Eddie. I want to bring to your attention the Herbert Trackman Planetarium at Joliet Junior College. My son loves this. They offer free shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. It's perfect for stargazers. The show provides excellent astronomical instruction and entertainment for no charge. That's right, it is free on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. The planetarium features a 30-foot diameter dome, a new OmniStar digital planetarium projector. During the shows, you can enjoy sky tours using the projector and PowerPoint presentations covering a wide range of astronomical topics. For more information, please visit jjc.edu/planetarium. And for you educators out there, they are open for field trip bookings. So go to jjc.edu/planetarium.
Welcome to the Lions Club. Being a lion means knowing that kindness matters. We believe in changing the world by serving the needs of our local communities. More than 1.4 million lions around the world are responding to local and global challenges with kindness and care. Come volunteer with us. Your Lions journey starts here. The Crest Hill Lions Club invites you to reach out to your local Lions Club to learn about how you can be a part of a community and bringing passionate, kind-hearted people together to serve local needs. They build relationships that lead to opportunities. In short, when lions serve, life improves, and the community grows. Grow with us. The Crest Hill Lions Club would also like to thank our sponsors who help with our yearly events, such as the car show and picnic at St. Joe's Park, and those who attend and support our Easter egg hunts, Shanahan Bingo, and many more events. The Crest Hill Lions Club meets the first and third Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. For more information on being a lion, go to lionsclub.org to start your journey today. That's lionsclub.org.
Are you ready to make your next move in real estate? Look no further than Exit Real Estate Specialists, your innovative leader in the industry. At Exit, we're not just about transactions. We're about building relationships and fulfilling dreams. Step into a community of empathetic, well-trained professionals dedicated to your success. Our Exit Real Estate professionals are more than just agents. They're your trusted advisors and allies in the journey of buying, selling, or investing in real estate. Whether you're selling your home or searching for your next investment, trust Exit to provide an excellent experience from start to finish. Our commitment to putting people first means you receive personalized attention and support, ensuring your real estate goals are met with success. Call us today at 815-823-5478 or visit exitrealestatespecialist.com to learn more. Exit Real Estate Specialists, exceeding your expectations every step of the way.
Stocks may succeed, stocks may fail. Real estate is always there. It's Get Real with Eddie.
All right, we are talking about affordability before we went to the break.
Yeah.
I have a solution that I think some people are still kind of closed off on. That is a great option, and that is looking at townhomes and duplexes.
I was just going to ask you if it was about, doing multifamily units.
It is. So before we get into that, though, I want to talk about my new listing. I got a brand new listing coming up, 306 Mills Road in Joliet. It is for $125,000. It is a 2-unit building. The first lower level has 2 bedrooms in it. The upper level has 3 bedrooms in it. Yes, it needs work. It is on a good lot size with a nice barn kind of garage.
Country-esque.
So it's definitely, if you're someone that's looking for a project, if you are handy and can fix things up, this could be a good option for you. So you could always buy it, live in one unit, rent out the other. Great if you have, if you and a family member wanted to split, or you could buy it as an investment property and rent it out. So, back on the townhouses. National Association of Home Builders, 35% of buyers are willing to purchase something smaller right now. It's the affordability aspect. And Realtor.com says, in today's market, affordability remains a key priority for home buyers, making townhomes an attractive option because they are often priced more reasonably than single-family homes. It makes them especially appealing to first-time home buyers on a tighter budget. And honestly, I really think this is an option. You can buy a townhouse, stop renting. I get it if you own a townhouse already and you want to go to a single family. Okay, I get that. I understand that.
Yeah.
But if you are renting and you're not finding anything in a single family house, a townhouse or a duplex could be a great option for you because you're going to see an opportunity to get things rolling and start building equity and stop paying somebody else's mortgage.
And you don't have to cut the grass.
Well, it depends. You
No,
might.
I'm just kidding.
I bought a duplex and I had to cut grass on mine.
Yeah.
But yes, most cases you don't.
Yeah. Duplex townhouses, I'm pretty sure a lot of them.
A lot of them have services.
Yeah.
And even on some of the duplexes, they have services. But yes, for the most part, you're probably not cutting grass or shoveling snow.
Right.
You know, so that makes a very convenient and very easy aspect. So, Joel Berner, senior economist at Realtor.com, explains builders are making a concerted effort to provide smaller and more affordable inventory to the market in a way that the existing home market cannot. Townhomes are a significant portion of that effort. And I got to be honest, in Will County, we actually are last place for attached housing.
Really?
Yep. We are the last for the state of Illinois.
I wonder why.
Everything was single family homes.
Yeah.
So believe it or not, Plainfield is probably the best town for attached housing compared to the rest of the county.
That's what I was thinking. I drive through Plainfield all the time, and there's tons of duplexes and townhouses.
And they did a really good job of using the duplexes and townhomes as their buffer between the commercial.
Yeah.
So they would commercial, denser housing, and then single family homes. And there's a good price difference between that because of it, as it should be.
Of course. What about West Joliet, though? Don't they have a lot of townhouse?
You have some, because yes, your more older side of Joliet is definitely more single-family houses. Yeah. But even then, you got to keep in mind that older side of Joliet may be a single-family house, but they were more of a traditional bungalow built on that postage stamp lot, so you had more of them.
Yeah.
They were squeezing more houses in. You didn't have these huge yards.
It's like city grid.
Yes.
Yeah, essentially.
Exactly. So it gave a lot more options, and this helps combat the affordability aspect. You know, so and I'm seeing from builders, all the builders I talk to, they're going, oh yeah, we got townhomes and duplexes, townhomes and duplexes, townhomes and duplexes. That's all I'm hearing from the builders right now.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't done a lot of inspections on new construction for duplexes and townhomes, mostly just single families still. And we've done a lot in the Frankfort and New Lenox area as of late. Last year and the year before it was Plainfield, you know? So I have not seen that from our end yet, but I'm sure it'll come.
It's coming. I think it's coming, and you're going to see more development in this. The question is, are you going to see the home buyers looking to make that same move? Are they willing to transition over to the more denser housing? And I think for affordability aspects, absolutely, why not? You might be able to, instead of buying a single family house, you might be able to get a 3-bedroom duplex or a townhouse in the school district you want versus a school district you don't want. I mean, so that is a big thing to start balancing and looking at.
I wonder what the demographic difference is, too, because I know there's got to be a certain market, a demographic in that market, too.
What do you mean by demographic?
I'm thinking of myself as a mom, right?
Oh.
You know, I feel like generally speaking, you're probably going to get like a lot more women, especially like maybe, single moms with kids, that would be more apt to purchase a duplex or a townhouse. I'm just thinking, I'm just curious.
I don't know. I don't, because that data they don't really share or track that.
You can't really talk about that as a realtor, but I'm not a licensed realtor, so I can.
I mean, if it's done correctly, yes. We just don't want to discriminate against anybody.
No, I
but
just
I know
imagine that there would be, though.
I know where you're coming from, because honestly, that was what my mom bought. My parents got divorced. We were in a 2-bedroom apartment for 2 years, and then my mom
bought a townhouse.
My mom bought a 3-bedroom townhouse, right over behind the mall. It was on the Plainfield side, actually, and we were at Plainfield Schools, and that's where we were.
I'm thinking about most of the people I know that live in townhouses specifically, and it's mostly women and a lot of single moms, to be honest. So
and that townhouse served us. It served us well.
Yeah.
So we had 3 bedrooms. It had a basement. The only thing it didn't have was a garage. I mean, that was the only thing. But
some of them do, though, don't they?
Some do. It just depends on what you're doing and what you're getting. Some of them do. So it just all depends. So, I mean, I really think though, and I always go back to my favorite case is my client that was 18. He bought a condo, 2-bedroom condo, almost like a townhouse. So you come in, living room, kitchen, little dining area.
Half bath, maybe?
There was a half bath on the first floor. All right, and a 1-car garage came with it. And then 2 bedrooms upstairs, full bath. All right?
Yeah.
Bought it for $125,000. It's probably right now worth $175,000.
That's wild.
He
Good
bought
investment for him, though.
18 years old, and he's now 22.
I wish I would have done that when I was 18.
I mean,
didn't, but
he was completely smart with what he did and realized, I need to buy real estate. That's going to be my investment.
Real estate is still the best investment that you can make.
More millionaires are made from real estate than any other investment in
absolutely.
the country. So. And that wraps it up for Get Real with Eddie. Don't forget, check us out online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at GetRealWithEddie.com, talking about your largest investment, your home.
Thanks for listening. Eddie Ruettiger is the designated managing broker and owner of Exit Real Estate Specialists, located at 2750 Caton Farm Road, Joliet. License number 481014247. For questions, call Eddie at 815-823-5478.